There has been a number of gameplay changes with the 1.6 update for Stardew Valley, but in the recent patch notes, one of those stood out to me more than the rest, and I think it's one of the best gameplay changes that there has been for Stardew Valley. And this is the ability to be able to use bee houses alongside garden pots. Before, in the recent versions of Stardew Valley, bee houses would only work with flowers that were planted or tilled in the ground, meaning the bees would never actually fly over to the flowers in the garden pots and use it to make honey. And this always frustrated me in Stardew Valley because I had so many plans and layouts that I could have used with garden pots. But in the recent patch notes, we now have the ability to use this feature. You no longer have to plant flowers in the ground for bee houses to work. But there are a few things to note here that's very important. And one of them is the fact that bee houses still do not work indoors. There's no point in planting bee houses in the greenhouse with garden pots. They will not work. They will never produce honey, and sadly this also goes for sheds, even in the house, anywhere indoors. Now of course this makes sense because in a real world situation, bees like to be outside. They need to be around meadows and wildflowers, etc. to produce honey. So yeah, it's realistic, they will never work indoors. I did test this out because I thought maybe with the feature of the garden pots that we was now allowed to use them indoors, because garden pots are normally a thing that I personally use indoors, like you can see here. You can only use the bee houses outside, meaning garden pots also need to be outside. So here is a little layout that I've always had on my farm. This used to just collect regular honey, which I used to make a lot of mead with back in the day, and I never really got rid of it. At one point I did used to also have solar panels here, which collected batteries, but now I've moved that over to the desert. I decided to put the bee houses back, but now that we can use garden pots, this is actually perfect, and we can collect special honey, which is a very good way of making money in Stardew Valley. So here we're in the summer season, we've got poppies and spangles. This is a little simple layout. You don't need many flowers. They have quite a good radius, so you don't need a lot of flowers around them. These 6 flowers here will actually turn all of these bee houses into special honey. And that is why I think the garden pots work so well with this, because you only need a few amount in order to create some really delicious flavor honey. So let's sleep a few days and see if this actually works. Let's put it to the test, guys. The first time I will ever see this. Oh, we got the green rain. But that doesn't stop the bees from getting to work. They love it. The honey is ready. So let's collect all of this and see if we get special honey. Oh, there we go, summer spangle. So this is going to be mixed poppy and summer spangles, because I used those new 1.6 mixed flower seeds. So yeah, it gave me kind of random ones, which I think is awesome. We actually got 16 poppy and 16 summer spangle. Now of course poppy honey is so much more worth it to summer spangles. We've got 8,512 gold for those, whereas the summer spangle is only 6.2k. But if you see here, I have got 16 wild honey. You can see the comparison, guys. This is only 2,240. So even turning this into summer spangle honey is so much better. But poppy in summer is the go-to. Now, of course, the best honey in the game is fairy rose. And luckily, we have a place in Stardew Valley called Ginger Island, which is one gigantic greenhouse, meaning any flower, any crop, any seed can grow all year long, no matter what the season. So that is where the fairy rose production is. So let's go over and take a look at the garden pots in action on Ginger Island, which is the perfect location for this new feature. Well, there's no green rain over here. A beautiful day. But guys, here we go. This layout is not finished. I've got a lot of work to do here since this feature. But before, as you can see, I used to grow a lot of fairy rose just in the ground because this is the only way it would work. And you can see we've got bee houses around here that are collecting special fairy rose honey. But with this new update, we no longer have to have the crops in the ground. We can put them in a garden pot. Now, one thing I recommend is actually putting the deluxe retaining soil into the garden pot. The deluxe retaining soil literally gives you 100% chance of staying watered overnight. So if you actually get any of these, and you can craft a lot of them, it's only stone, fiber and clay, you can basically just put one in there and you'll never have to water the crop in the garden pot. It will stay there on Ginger Island all year round. So once it's there, it is there. I've got a lot more bee houses to put around here, but I've started putting garden pots around. And as you can see, they are still collecting fairy rose honey, which is amazing. This new feature allows us to create so many new layouts that are efficient and actually work. Now look at this, we've literally just got one fairy rose in a garden pot hiding away with bee houses all around it, and all the bees are collecting this honey. It is so good. Now again, just for comparison, just to show exactly how much better fairy rose honey is, for 16, along with the summer and the poppy and the wild, 16 fairy rose honey gives us 15.2k. It is incredible. So Ginger Island for me makes so much money. This is my fairy rose production. We get a ton of it over here. We have got a lot to harvest, and luckily for us, I can now get rid of all these random flowers that are just dotted around and use garden pots, which in my opinion look better. You don't need as much of them. And one problem that I was having on Ginger Island is there is not much diggable soil. You could only dig around the edge near the water here, and there's a few random spots here and there. So it made it really difficult to actually produce a lot of fairy rose honey, just because you couldn't place a lot of fairy roses down. But with this new feature, we can now do that. A garden pot down, put the fairy rose in, some deluxe retaining soil, and that will grow and stay there forever. And we can now put so much more around here. And you can see as well, back in the day, I used to use sprinklers, but garden pots work so well with the deluxe retaining soil. I've got so many more spaces now to place bee houses because we don't need soil. I can put these garden pots anywhere on the island now. They don't actually work on the beach though, you can't put them on the sand. But anywhere on the grass here, we can literally put a garden pot. So I've spread this all the way up here, so I can get a crap ton of bee houses all the way on Ginger Island. And that means I'm going to have hundreds of this stuff every couple of days. And that's it. I don't think I will ever need money again in Stardew Valley. This is all year long, not even in just the fall season. It's absolutely insane, guys. One of my favourite features so far. And it didn't even come with the initial 1.6 update. It came later on in a patch. So there we go. I've collected all the fairy rose that was ready for me over here. And that gave me a total of 274 right now. I want to get this up to 500. I want to double this. I want to get so many bee houses around here. Because fairy rose honey, I believe, sells for, 952. It's just under 1,000. It's really, really good money. And that, of course, is with the artisan profession. So the more of that, the better. Now, it's also worth noting as well that garden pots do not work outside of the farm. Bee houses do. So I can actually get regular honey with the bee houses that are around town in the valley, which is amazing. But sadly, garden pots do not work. They have to be on the farm only. I guess I'll rephrase it. You can actually place a garden pot in town, that's fine, but you can't actually plant seeds in them unless it's on the farm. I do wish you could put garden pots in town. It would be amazing, so you can get special honey, not just on the farm. As you can see here, I've just got random bee houses going around. It's a good way of just getting some honey as you're passing through. Yeah, but not being able to use garden pots is a real bummer. But we have loads of space on the farm, huge potential. You can literally cover this with garden pots and honey and bee houses if you really wanted to. But guys, just use Ginger Island. It's classed as one big farm, it's one big greenhouse. And yeah, it's the perfect place to have bee houses and garden pots. They work together. You can actually plant over there, and the space is there to be used. But that is it. That's just a short video that I really wanted to show off the new change, the gameplay change with bee houses and garden pots. The fact that they work together now is incredible. I've been wanting this to happen for a very, very long time, and I'm so glad it's a part of the game. There's not really anything else new in Stardew Valley 1.6 that I can show you guys. Covered all of the major things. Of course, there is a few quality of life changes that if you want to see a dedicated video, let me know down below and I'll show you all of the 1.6 quality of life changes that have came to the update. Other than that, I think we've kind of covered everything. I will be planning another co-op series with Poxeel, the other Stardew Valley YouTuber. If you don't know who he is, I'm sure you do. We will be doing a new season very soon. You might not see the first episode for a couple of months though, but it will be something that we do this year, so definitely stick around for that. But until then guys, make sure you all take it easy, stay safe, and stay cozy.